Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Capricorn energy. In the last couple weeks, I've had lots of troubles with getting my audio to work. Haven't had a problem with it for like a year, but Capricorn was one of them that it did not record the volume again. So we're going to do it again, and so that kind of makes me curious to see how the story could have changed of what could be going on in Capricorn energy. Like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Capricorn, the bottom row a more worldly, shadowy Capricorn. We all have our dualistic nature and we have to make decisions in our life, and the bottom row can just represent our comfort zone, and we all would kind of like things that we've invested in to work out the way we want, but maybe it's not really, or we are kind of ready to move forward in life differently. And then the bottom row can kind of represent our fears and our insecurities that we got to work through. Just like we have our dualistic nature, so does everyone else. And everybody taps into Capricorn energy, kind of what they view as victorious and successful. And some people are more about themselves or things they want to indulge in or money or status or something, and they think that's the most important thing. And if they have those things or do those things, or it's more about them, or they could be bossy or controlling, and that's, how it's got to be, that they're sure will make them happy. um, you know, uh, we're dealing with other people, and we have to kind of listen to our intuition about, do we harness our Capricorn energy the same? High vibe people think it's about a balance. I want some of these things of the world, but I also want truth and love and justice and fairness and people who act with character and integrity. And if I'm doing that, I want to be in a relationship with other people who do that. And some people don't. So this might be something more that people who are a Capricorn sun sign or have significant Capricorn placements are dealing with, because they may be more aligned and are influenced by their Capricorn energy. But then it can affect all of us, because that can be what's going on in Capricorn energy. So up here we have the Seven of Wands, which can be in the top row that I don't want to repeat old patterns. And I'm also willing to not make a decision more out of ego or something, right? And so right now, some high vibe people are standing up for themselves. They could move forward in certain things or take certain actions. The Eight of Wands could be, we could have been moving forward in a more immature way. We could have been moving forward with more immature people. We could keep doing that if we want, but the high vibe people are like, wait a minute, I kind of have a dream, and if this isn't, I might like this, there might be things about it I enjoy. Other people in my life might want me to keep living my life that way or thinking that way or whatever. But wait a minute, in the Seven of Wands, which is Leo energy, is this my truth? Are the people I'm moving forward with, are they being in high vibe Leo energy? Are they motivated and inspired by truth and love and authenticity? Or is it more to get me to move forward with them, but I've just kind of realized, that might have been my truth, but it's not my truth now, and because life is about learning these lessons, and do I want to keep moving forward like that? Or is it time to go to kind of like the next phase of life? Just like if we could have perpetually been like a senior in high school, some people would have perpetually chose to be a senior in high school because they're kind of like top dog, right? There's no upperclassmen above you. And other people are like, even if I had the opportunity to do that, I wouldn't do that because I wanted to be more than a 12th grader in high school. I have another dream. This is just part of building what I want to build, and everybody can have a certain way of living life. They view it as victorious and successful, don't have aspirations of facing their fears, maybe, of going to a different phase of life, and they just want to keep moving forward the way they move forward. And we can get in a group and at a phase of life and we're moving forward with them too. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. I wasn't planning on doing this like forever. High vibe energy is about becoming more independent of, because at every phase of life, we have the opportunity to take what we've learned and the lessons that we've learned to kind of heal and grow and mature ourselves to go to that next phase of life. And we could get in on a phase of life with some people, and then those people just want to keep doing that forever. It's like, well, wait a minute. I thought we were all going to kind of come at a point would see that phase we've kind of learned everything we needed to learn there. Otherwise we just keep repeating the same thing over and over, and that's what the bottom row can represent. It's kind of dead and stagnant. We're not growing, healing, and maturing ourselves. We're not facing our fears. We're not challenging ourselves to really stand up for ourselves and to live our more authentic life of kind of growing to our full potential. So, and then we all have the free will choice to indulge our more immature nature. The Eight of Wands in shadowy Sagittarius can be indulging our more immature nature. And high vibe, which some people did, they went through a phase of life, they were kind of inspired to move forward differently, and they realized, I need to be defensive to keep moving forward this way. And in high vibe Sagittarius, which is about higher learning and education, I need to let that go and some of those people go, let them keep doing that, because I feel if I keep doing that, I'm just, nothing's going to change. And I have a dream, and this was part of the dream. And high vibe people, down here in the bottom row, we have the Ace of Wands, the Queen of Wands, which I also view as Leo energy, and the Knight of Cups. I'm inspired to listen to my intuition and to love and believe in myself, to keep being inspired to keep growing, healing, and maturing myself. And I'm working with some people at a job, friendship, or relationship, or just myself and how I'm living my life. But high vibe people try to inspire other people to love and believe in themselves. But sometimes we get in more mismatched relationships where we can be loving and encouraging and supportive to other people, wanting all of us to kind of wrap our brain around this game of life and see what we should let go and what we should stand up against, or we'll just keep moving forward in that way and nothing will change. So let's be inspired to love ourselves. I view high vibe Leo, also represented by the sun, of loving ourselves and believing in ourselves and working through our fears and insecurities. Offer love to our more immature nature and our more... This is also the reason why the first row's reading came out. We could have all been more in our ego at one time, and I think, for the first 30, 40 years of our life, we are pretty caught up in the world, in our worldly egoic nature, pretty inspired by the world, all these things we want to indulge in, manifest. But then there can come a time where, maybe I did manifest some of those things, and I did indulge in some of those things, and I did make my life about some of those things, and I had some growing up and maturing to do, and I did. And I don't want to keep, once I kind of, out of love for myself and being inspired within myself to believe in myself, I don't want to keep moving forward where I'm not like facing my fears. And part of it could have been learning to stand up for yourself and stand up for the truth, because again, high vibe Leo energy, also represented by the sun, is standing up for truth and love. And we can love people, and we can love people who their idea of the dream life is different. They could be more immature. They could be more inspired by their ego nature. And we could have found ourselves in relationships with people that we harness our Leo energy differently. They could want to move forward in the relationship, maybe more like, I like you, you like me. This is a victory worth defending, more for these worldly egoic reasons. Like, what about being inspired to stand up for yourself and stand up against your more worldly, egoic nature, which can, make you move forward in relationships more for the status, the ego, the image, or indulge in certain things that make you feel better. But it's not really ever freeing yourself from anything that manipulates you. And you possibly could keep staying more defensive. And that can be where some people are kind of more defensive to being inspired by love. And they want to keep repeating this pattern of, let's be in a relationship, let's operate more from our defensive nature, our egoic nature. Do we really have to do love? If I do love, I get hurt. And then I can't hide behind my more self-protective egoic nature. I'd have to be inspired to let go of my egoic nature, and I'd really have to move forward in love in that and see the truth kind of what am I going to defend. And I see the sevens as kind of the tipping point. For the first, again, 30, 40 years of our life, we can really be more aligned with our more worldly nature because, again, we have a lot of lessons learned in life. And we're going to come in contact with all these different people in the world to help us get more clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't. Which one do we defend? And sometimes we're in relationships with people, they defend their more worldly, egoic view of life. Which can either be, it's more about them, it's more about these things of the world, it's more about defending not stepping out of their comfort zone or being more inspired to shine their authentic light in the world. Let's conform to the world. Let's keep doing these things. And some other people are like, I might have been in the same boat with you as one time, but I didn't think we were going to do that forever. Just like, you can be young and you're out partying and doing all these things. Like, well, I didn't expect to keep partying to that degree forever. It's kind of like a phase of life, and then to maybe get more balance within myself and kind of grow and heal and mature myself. So I'm maybe not looking to things to indulge in to make me feel better. And plus, if I keep living my life that way, there's certain things I might want to accomplish in my life that could I enjoy them? Yeah, but I'm going to do it maybe in a more balanced way. The things of the world are meant to be enjoyed, but they're meant to be kind of enjoyed in moderation where you don't give those things, just like you can give money or being about yourself or self-indulgence, too much power and influence in your life, and it's stopping you from really growing to your full potential. And I think high vibe people offer people in their life love and encouragement to move forward with them. And so one person could be trying to move it forward, to go to the next level, to have it. That we again kind of see what needs to be let go of, what are the good building blocks to take with. And that's when we can find out some other people are like, no, I'm good, just let's keep doing this. And other people are like, I don't want to just keep doing this. So some people are in those situations right now. Some people have been in those kind of situations. Initially, when we get involved in something, we cannot know if we harness these two cards' energy the same. What are they? The Knight of Swords and the Strength card, which is Leo energy. Some people defend their more egoic nature, and they are defensive to tempering something about their egoic nature. If they're immature, if they're manipulative, if they have illusions about themselves, have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, if they're more driven and motivated by getting in a relationship, staying in a relationship, more for the ego and image than being more authentic and motivated and inspired by love, that is their truth in their Gemini nature of free will. That's my truth. That's how I want to move forward. And of course, we can all tend to think that people think like we do. And so they think more worldly, shadowy people could get in relationships with people, and it's like, yeah, I want to be in a relationship. Yeah, I love love. I love being in a relationship. I enjoy being in a relationship. I like indulging in the relationship. So long as it's good for my ego and my image and all those things, let's keep going. And other people can get in a relationship with them, but they don't realize that their truth is, it is more from this worldly egoic perspective of immaturity, being inspired more by the world, if they want to be defensive, if they want to be manipulative. They just think other people are kind of like that too, and so that's okay. But as time goes by, the other people in their Gemini, Leo, and Capricorn energy, I thought it was supposed to be about truth and love. And love is supposed to be just and fair, and you're supposed to treat other people the way you like them. I didn't realize you kind of more try to get people in relationships with you, hoping you can kind of manipulate them into staying in the relationship with you, but you were never really planning to do love. It was just the illusion of love. That's shadowy Knight of Cups of Pisces. They just think, well, I'm kind of defensive to coming out from behind my defensive egoic nature, so I thought you were too. So I thought we could just enjoy a relationship. We can enjoy each other. There can kind of be love there, but I don't want to, when I have to make decisions in my life, it's more not love, because I maybe don't let myself more authentically invest in people from love, because I'm defensive to probably being hurt. So I'm more inspired to operate from my ego, but I want to be in relationships. I enjoy relationships. I like to indulge in relationships, but I'm just going to hide that I really don't want to let my more authentic, vulnerable nature out to play in the world. And you move forward in those relationships, and the people who are more motivated and inspired by love have tempered their more defensive, egoic nature to be more loving and giving and authentic and warm. And over time, they kind of realize that the other person's kind of defensive to being that way. And so then you can't have like a more deep, meaningful relationship with them. And then it can kind of seem a little more superficial and shallow. And they think you should stay in it because it looks great by worldly standards. And it's like, but I feel like the reason is more for these other reasons than love. And I had a dream of what I view as victorious and successful. Do I want these things in the world like everyone else? Yes. But you kind of want me to give up my truth and in my Gemini nature of free will and my Leo Capricorn energy of what I view as victorious and successful is like a balance of, do I want those things? Yes, but I also want authentic, loving, and encouraging and supportive relationships. And I don't want to feel like I'm in a relationship with someone who is operating more from their defensive, egoic nature and kind of using my loving nature, the love that I have for them, to try to manipulate me. And this could be an adult child, a brother, sister, mom, dad, friend, family, coworker, or a romantic interest. Who are the people who are authentically working together with you? No ill intent, no real ulterior purpose, except for everybody to get along and for everybody to acknowledge you got your own unique things and you're really good at that and I might be better at this and you, whatever. That is just like, it's for everybody to grow to their full potential in a way. And there can be other people who are like, I might want to get in a relationship with you because it is good for my ego and my image, or I'll befriend you for these reasons. But I'm really actually kind of defensive to you and kind of in my ego about you because you might have these certain traits, qualities, characteristics that, shadowy energy can be jealous and envious, but if it works for me, I'll move forward with you in a relationship. But then eventually those people can kind of realize that, every once in a while it kind of might come out. And it's like, it doesn't seem to maybe be flowing the way I thought it would be. And it can be because people have some hidden resentment. And I think that ends up happening in a more mismatched relationship, because if they're more defensive to love, they might like being in relationships with people who have worked through whatever things can manipulate a person to make them defensive to being more authentically themselves and open to giving love. And then, and they could have, shadowy energy can kind of be living more from your mind than your heart. So they think they're smart. and and then they can kind of, even though they want to be in relationships with people who are open and giving and loving, because it's great to work with people like that, they can kind of be in their ego and kind of defensive and kind of jealous and envious. Like, why aren't you manipulated by what I'm manipulated by? Because at some point in time, they could have decided that, people who are more loving and giving or whatever just get manipulated by other people. And they had maybe felt manipulated by other people. And they could have decided, well, if there's I'm not going to be someone who's manipulated anymore. If loving people get manipulated, I'm going to be one of the people who manipulates loving people. But then again, they can be jealous of why other people didn't give up on themselves, because they kind of did. For some, for other people, it's just that I don't understand how you view life. They could view you as immature. What? Do you not know this game of life? This game of life is about, it's to get in relationships, get along well enough, to look like you have all these things in the world, to look victorious and successful in your Capricorn energy, to have the money, the status, the image. Or I don't understand why you're not going out and indulging in all these things that I'm indulging in, because boy, that is living the dream. Look at me. And other people are like, I think you live in fantasy land. So, for whatever reason, people could be, for the people where there was kind of working together and feeling you were on the same page and that everybody was motivated and inspired by love, some people could have been trying to encourage some people. Can we do some things kind of differently? We could have moved forward in this way. We could have manifested a lot of things that seem victorious and successful, but it still could seem like, I don't know, that you seem to think it should just always be more about you, or, we were caught up in these things we wanted to manifest, but can we put it in some perspective that that's not the end all be all or the primary, I hope not, reason for being in the relationship? It's just like people can want to get married and have children. Well, but I don't want to be in the relationship and stay in the relationship with just that being the primary reason. Weren't we attracted to each other and have love for each other? Can't the relationship kind of go to the next level where it's more of a deep, meaningful relationship? And some people are like, well, no, that was the reason we got in the relationship, and that's why we should stay in it. And no, I don't want to do a deep, more meaningful relationship. And so that's when people could feel like they're kind of in a relationship with someone who wants to be in it for these other reasons, and it works for them, and you kind of feel like they're indulging in the relationship, and that nothing's going to change. It's not going to grow and mature over time. And other people, or, people are emotionally complex. There's a lot of different aspects to people. Some people are kind of more manipulative, and some people think that's okay. And some people do try to manipulate and control people to get them to do what they want. Otherwise, you'd be loving and encouraging and working together with people more cooperatively. And if they're not being authentic and just balanced within themselves and more motivated by love, they really are trying to manipulate someone. And high vibe people do not like to feel manipulated, because that's not just and fair. And the high vibe people will start to do this work within themselves, kind of behind the scenes, kind of debating within themselves. I don't want to leave this, but I also don't like how some of these things are going. And, eventually it might take time, and some people could be just doing that work within themselves to work through their own emotional confusion about really what their truth is, and wanting to make sure that they're not being influenced, probably doing work within themselves to temper their own ego. I don't want to communicate something or take action more out of a fear or insecurity or something. So then they do this work, they get inspired to do this work within themselves. It might be me, and I don't want to sabotage this relationship if it's something within me. So then they do that work within themselves, and then once they kind of do that work within themselves, they kind of feel freed to, like, I know the things that I want and how I would like this to move forward. It's not unresolved issues from my past or whatever. This is my truth, and they could feel like, oh my gosh, I just feel like I freed myself, and like I am ready to move forward in this relationship. And they communicate with the people they're in a relationship with, and just even by the way they are, and the people in their life could be like, something happened here. They seem different. They seem kind of more motivated and inspired. It seems like they offered love to some things that they could have been previously weren't working through. And now they seem to have gotten a little more clear of their truth, and maybe more comfortable within themselves, in their own skin, more confident within themselves. And some of the other people are like, wait, oh, what changed, kind of. I mean, here we have one wand and one wand. And then over here we have 8. And that is the difference of 6. And the 7 defends the 6. Something happened. You seem to have done something. And the 6 of Wands also is Leo energy. And so is the 5 of Wands. And the difference between this 1 plus 1 equals 2, that is 7. The difference between 2 and 7 is 5. And 5s are about change. So it's like, wait a minute. When we got in this, you were kind of on the Ace of Wands. I was holding an Ace of Wands. But now, and we could have both thought, yeah, that's our truth. Let's keep moving forward like that. But somewhere along the way, someone did this inner work within themselves, and they changed. And they're kind of not the same person that they were when they got in it. And that's when some other people too are like, I don't know that I want to keep investing in you, because I didn't know that you would do that kind of work within yourself. We all could have been more defensive. We all could have been operating a little bit more from our ego. We all could have been more defensive to seeing the truth about things that manipulate us. But now you seem to have worked through some of those issues, and you're ready to move forward differently. Because when you heal, grow, mature yourself, work through some of your fears, your insecurities, expand your perception of yourself and the world around you, whatever it is, you don't think the same. And, so much of our whole life is dictated by how we think, and what we think about ourselves, and how we view the world, and what we believe is possible. And it's like, shit, you're moving forward completely differently in your 6 of Wands energy of Leo than how I thought we were going to move forward. And the other people kind of see, yes, and I'm starting to see that you harness, it seems like, a more worldly, shadowy 6 of Wands energy. Or it's just more about you, or it's more about manipulating people or controlling people. I want it to be a more authentic, inspired by love relationship. And that's when some of the other people, and the queens, the feminine figures, can talk about how we think and feel. So whether people are male or female, some of those people are like, I'm going to let you go ahead, and I think I'm going to go repeat a past pattern. You go. I'm not ready to go. And there too, some people we know are kind of more shadowy and manipulative and prideful and egotistical or whatever. And other people, I'm not ready to look at life that way. I don't. You're maybe a little more bold and brave and confident, or a little more have worked through some issues I haven't worked through. And some of those people can be like, I wish you peace and love, but yeah, I'm not ready. You go. And we're like, okay, I'm gonna go. And everybody can wish everybody love, But there's going to be some people in the world that definitely get in their ego about it and definitely have their way of living life, which is fine. Everybody has the free will to live their life whatever way they want. It's just that when you kind of realize that, I can love someone, but say how I envision my life and maybe how I was going to move forward in life, or, it can be big town, small town, it can be moving, not moving. And, those are things that we need to work through in a relationship. And everybody has the free will to align with their truth and what they think would kind of be emotionally fulfilling and how they want to move forward and things that they like to spend their time doing and different events and activities they like to do. And, with some people, again, we can part amicably with those people, and everybody can be a little hurt, everybody can be a little sad, but, you know, um, if people aren't being truthful and we feel like people aren't telling us the truth, it can make us more defensive and hurt. Um, if we feel like um, maybe we'd be the ones who have to put in more of the work and effort to keep moving something forward, and feeling like we have to indulge someone, and like if I don't put in the work and effort to move it forward, it won't move forward. Well, I thought we were both motivated to move it forward. And some people are like, well, no, if it's not kind of more about me, or I've gotten to where I like you to put in more of the work and effort, and if you're not willing to put in more of the work and effort to keep it moving forward, I'm willing to let it go. It's like, okay, irregardless, the high vibe people work through their ego about it because they don't want to stay in their ego, which can be mad, sad, hurt. And I have to deal with the truth, and I have to accept the truth. And so they kind of wrap their brain around it. And I think from an energy of love, which they probably already communicated their truth and love to people in their life. And if it's not moving forward in a more just and fair or authentic or loving way, they want to live their life some way or repeat old patterns. It's like, I can't do that. And if moving forward the way I want to move forward isn't your truth, out of love for you, I wish you peace. So the high vibe people decided to not keep moving forward with something. And some people could be doing that right now. And some people had other opportunities come their way, and they're already in relationships with people and at jobs or friendships that they're all moving together in that way or whatever. And, it's not going to let their more immature, shadowy nature tempt them. And as other people might move away from something, they're also not going to indulge in their more immature nature, or they know they would repeat that old pattern. And if I didn't enjoy it and I wanted to get out of certain ways of living life or conducting myself or being in certain types of relationships with people, I need to stand up to my own more shadowy nature. And the people in my life that I've spoken my truth and love to, and those people kind of somehow or another conveyed they didn't want to go move forward in that way. Okay, well then I'm standing up for my truth, and they're probably doing whatever they're doing, standing up for their truth. And I'm going to get out of my ego about it so that I can move forward. But before I move forward, I want to make sure I don't want to repeat that pattern. So there's always going to be whatever this could have represented, there's always going to be people who I'm attracted to. Say if you're single, I don't want to just, I want to figure out why I was drawn and attracted to those people if I ended up finding out later that those people were more something. Immature, prideful, manipulative, have illusions about what it means to be in a relationship, defensive, more about the superficiality, you know. Those, there are always going to be those kind of people in the world. And there was something within me that kind of made me align with them. So I need to figure out what that is within me. So if I don't change me, and the only person, you know, we were talking about in the fives, the only person I can change is me. Because there's going to be all these different types of people in the world, no matter what. And if I don't want to repeat that pattern, I have to change me. So I think the high vibe people, some of them are doing that work. Some of them did that work. They had to figure out why they, which is wrapping their brain around this game of life with Sagittarius of higher learning. And that's also why some people aren't going to come with. Because they could know there is things that manipulate them. Well, for one, the truth sets us free. They'd have to be willing to deal with those issues. Things within themselves, how the world manipulates them, how their fear, their ego, their defensiveness, other people in their life, friends, family. And some people don't want to see the truth. You should let those things manipulate you. I've decided that's just and fair. Or these people manipulate me. I've decided that's just and fair. Or the world manipulates me. I decided that was just and fair. And then you should too. And it's like, that's not my truth. Those things don't manipulate me the way they manipulate you. Or those people don't. So, and I am willing to deal with the truth. So, let's go see what it is. The Seven of Swords, the Four of Swords, the Four of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. So, the Seven of Swords and the Four of Swords, air sign energy, Aquarius and Libra. And Aquarius can kind of be, I have this dream. And Libra can be, what do I think is just and fair? And we can all be really caught up in these things of the world. But I want these things, and, you know, and I want people maybe to like me or view me a certain way, and I want friendship, and I want relationship, and I might want marriage, and I want a good job. Well, what am I going to, because in a world of duality and free will, we have to make choices. Something has to be sacrificed to be more in favor of something else. And again, for the first 30, 40 years of our life, we could kind of, maybe because we just haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves and stand up for ourselves, or believe we can manifest our dreams into reality, or we're just in more codependent energy, we can kind of temper our ego for other people, you know, and again, maybe hoping that things will work out. If we get in relationships and we know they're a little more defensive or shut down or kind of a little more seem to be caught up in the world and whatever it is, you know, we can always hope that over time, you know, people will kind of grow up and mature themselves. And in the Seven of Swords, which I said with the Seven of Wands, the sevens can kind of be that tipping point. And sometimes what we don't realize is that when we compromise our truth, hoping other people will change, those people can be happy that we did, because they know the truth of what their truth is. They also could see that you are different, like you're not as manipulated or whatever, or you're more inspired by love or whatever. And they're like, hey, that works for me. Yeah, come with me. And, you know, hoping that if you get in the job or the relationship, that even as you kind of might realize that, you know, their truth and their idea of the dream life or dream relationship is different than yours, and you kind of saw that you were different at the beginning with some of the people in your life, you know, everybody can hope, they hope that you're going to let go of your ideas of viewing life, and you kind of hope that they kind of let go of some of theirs, and and we could all hope, and to some degree in the relationship, we could come to some types of compromises as you do, or a relationship wouldn't keep moving forward. Oh, well, so I kind of got it. It can't be, and you kind of learn, everybody has to be willing to sacrifice some things, say, if you're going to be in a relationship with someone else. So everybody kind of works through what they're willing to compromise and kind of make concessions on. But at a core foundational level of your Gemini nature and your truth, we can think that that can be worked through also. And so we can stay in jobs and friendships and relationships for a long time. And that can be the Four of Wands can talk about that, coming together with others in some type of foundation. And we go have this new beginning and we think, yes, I am kind of willing to compromise some of these things. They're kind of willing to compromise some of those things. And the relationship can move forward. And in a lot of ways, it can be enjoyable and beneficial, hopefully, for everybody. But eventually we kind of get down to the core truth of it. And that's when a relationship could end. And some people could feel like, I did do and make my life more about some more of these things of the world because we both wanted those things. But, I was hoping also in the meantime, being in the relationship, that maybe you would get out of maybe some more of your defensiveness or some of your immaturity or whatever, and that we could, move forward in a more inspired by love nature. And that's when some of the people are like, well, I thought you were going to let go of that and you would want to just keep staying in this because it does have all these things of the world that you want. Maybe not that kind of relationship, but I could know that you love me and I could know that you want these things and you want this dream to come into reality. And that's also when some people might make some action more out of pride and ego, thinking, I don't think you will love and believe in yourself enough to stand up for what you believe in, just as you maybe haven't for this stretch of time. To be high vibe energies, being more independent, being more balanced within yourself, being more inspired within yourself to invest in standing up for yourself. And so some people, thought, I don't think you'll stand up for yourself. And they decided to not work more cooperatively with you. Didn't want to work on healing the relationship and tempering their ego, or being a little bit more about them or more about these things of the world, or not wanting to deal with some truth. And they maybe already could have done some things that were kind of deceptive and manipulative and immature. Are they willing to take accountability for their actions, or are they defensive to that? And the more people keep being defensive and defend their more immature ways or prideful ways or stubborn ways or kind of being full of themselves, the sacrifice of what you have to sacrifice, your truth gets to be too big. And that can also be like shadowy energy. It wants more and more and more. If I used to be able to manipulate you, because that is, why would people even do that? Why not just be more authentic and loving? Well, because I do kind of want it to be more about me, or it makes me feel powerful. And then I want more power. If I like to go indulge in things to make me feel better, well, eventually they keep needing more and more of it to make them feel better. And they keep not wanting to see the truth. And for a long time in the relationship, we in the Seven of Swords didn't want to see the truth. Because in the 5 swords that we were holding, we wanted that dream to come into reality. And we were kind of defensive in the 2 of Swords, which is also Libra energy, to listen to our intuition. That we need to get more balance within ourselves. When we're in a mismatched relationship, one person is kind of sacrificing justice and fairness to indulge someone who's kind of being unjust and unfair. Or manipulative or immature or bossy or controlling. And it's like, And the high vibe people, the more loving people, hope that, because I'm offering truth and love and being just and fair and encouraging and whatever, you know, aren't you motivated to be that way yourself? I mean, this is nothing to be proud of. And you'd kind of think, but, everybody has their truth. And it's like, if people are immature, they want to keep being immature. If they're kind of full of themselves, they want to be full of themselves. If they like to try to manipulate and control people, again, it can make them feel like they're so smart. Look at me, look what I did, and look, they got bothered, and look, they concede, look, they give in to me. And it's a false sense of empowerment, because eventually the more high vibrational people in their life are realizing they're deceiving themselves. My dream isn't going to come into reality here. I need to stand up for myself and what I believe in, maintain balance within myself, and unless other people are willing to maintain balance within themselves to do more equal give and take, I'm not going out of balance anymore to indulge you. And when some people did some things, and you or other people right now in the world are maintaining balance within themselves, it's just like, that's different. It used to be if I did this and then I acted loving, they would be more defensive of doing whatever they were doing, and they would kind of come back and indulge me because they love me and they want the relationship to work. Well, now it's kind of like playing this game, which you shouldn't have gameplay, like a romantic relationship. But they do this gameplay, and the other people are maintaining balance within themselves, and they're trying to get the game back in play, and the other people aren't kind of indulging them in their ego. They're staying moving forward in balance within themselves, investing in their truth, and just from a place of love. But this is my truth. There's going to be no more gameplay. If we're working together and then it goes like this, yeah, I can't necessarily do that at work, but I can try to not work with those people as little as possible. I could, maybe before I didn't stand up for myself, and I could say, what's going on? It doesn't seem like we're working together on this very cooperatively. And, but if it's a romantic relationship, some people are like, I'm going to stay focused on my truth and things that I want to do, and I can be just and fair and loving to you when I see you, but I'm not going to do this kind of indulging you anymore. And so some people decided to heal themselves, and that's what they realized they needed to do, not even seeing they were in a more imbalanced relationship. When I indulge people in their poor behavior, it automatically flips the relationship where it's not just and fair and balanced. And this whole experience could have been to get people to be illuminated to the truth that love is supposed to be just and fair. And when people aren't being just and fair, you stand up for yourself, and it's like, what? No, I'm not. Stop right there before you go any further. What's going on? And the other people are like, what? What? You're not supposed to call out the truth. You're not supposed to call me on my bullshit. It's like, well, I am. If you're going to act like that, I'm going home, or I'm leaving, or I'm not going to keep hanging out with you today, or whatever, Conduct yourself in a just and fair manner and treat other people the way you like to be treated. And eventually, if it keeps happening time after time, eventually some people are like, I'm done. And that might be harder with a family member, like an adult child, brother, sister, mom or dad, because, but you can certainly really keep your distance from them. And it's like, I will see you at Christmas. And, with a romantic relationship, it's kind of like, I have to be willing to stand up for my truth. And I've spoken my truth in love. Apparently, they made the decision that they don't want to heal the relationship. They don't want to speak the truth. They don't want to temper their ego. They have these illusions. They want to keep moving forward with the illusion. If I were willing to keep moving forward with the illusion and I didn't require more justice and fairness and illuminating the truth, we could all keep moving forward the way it was. But the more you see the truth, the less you can stay in denial of the truth anymore. And that's also when some people don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore because you're no longer caught up in the illusion of who they are and you're no longer willing to indulge them. And then when you do get more balance within yourself and are invested in moving forward in life differently, standing up for yourself and what you believe in, doesn't have to be in a harsh way or a rude way, can still be from an energy of love. But I have my truth. And so if there's some people that you could have communicated your truth to, those people know your truth. Some of them didn't tell you, oh, gee, that would have been great. But since you kind of have learned these lessons in life and, you don't let people manipulate you or control you and you're not willing to indulge people more like maybe you used to be, sorry. Yeah, I'm one of the people who doesn't want to maybe heal a relationship or have a new beginning with you. And there too, anybody you meet, you want to keep people, shadowy people away, just kind of tell them the truth about some things that you went through maybe a little bit to a degree. Well, for one thing, don't indulge them in the relationship. Just get along with people, be authentic, loving, warm, encouraging, supportive. Listen to your intuition about how they act when they act shadowy. Keep your distance from them. That there shows them, because you're not like shadowy Sagittarius would be like chasing after people. And that would be this. Well, I was working together with you in a just and fair way, and I was trying to get along with you, and I don't understand why you're not working together with me. And that's what high vibe people can do sometimes. I am doing all these things. It kind of gets me in my ego why you're not working together with me in that way. But now some high vibe people have been illuminated to that's because that's who those people choose to be. It doesn't have anything to do with you. That is how they like to operate in a relationship. So when you quit and you see it, you accept the truth and you kind of move on and distance yourself, then those people are like, well, damn, that didn't work. Apparently they're not somebody I can manipulate and control. Damn. Some people give me more shots than that. Sometimes people keep trying to get me to like them and work with them more cooperatively because they don't understand that I'm a manipulative person. And there too, if you meet people and you stay more balanced, you're not chasing after people, you seem to be healed and balanced within yourself and confident within yourself. Some other people are like, gee, it'd be kind of nice to be in a relationship with you because, you're in this high vibe energy. But I don't think I can manipulate and control you, or I don't think you're going to indulge me. And I think there's some other people I know who would. I was like, well, you go enjoy your life with those people that you are trying to manipulate or control. And I'm going to go enjoy my life. And while you're moving forward, repeating that old pattern, I'm investing in a whole new beginning, looking for people who are more on the same page as me. And needless, you could have had, you could be in relationships or marriages or friendships, and all of you are moving together, all learning these lessons about people together, kind of going through these stages of life together, and just seeing who is more immature, manipulative, try to tempt people in their lust, their greed, their pride, their ego, and keep working with the people in your life who aren't like that are loving and authentic and encouraging, and you're going to keep building new things, moving forward in life differently, while some of the other people just keep repeating the same old thing, but with different friends, different workplaces, different whatever, new locations, but they're the same person over and over. What's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Capricorn energy that they might not see coming? And you cut the people out of your life that harness these energies in a shadowy way. So if they harness a more shadowy Aquarius, Libra, Aries, and in all three of their earth sign energies of their Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, they're just still more caught up in themselves or these things of the world or something, and not as inspired to be more inspired by love. And you are willing to cut those people out, and some of the other people in your life, they have just their own shadow nature of self. They probably have other friends, family that could live their life like that, and they're not willing to cut those people out of their life or quit aligning with that within themselves to align with looking at life from a higher perspective, healing their foundation, and investing in standing up to their more immature, egoic nature to live their more authentic life. So what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Capricorn energy that they might not see coming? You know, and shadowy people will definitely get in a relationship with someone else to try to get someone else to stand down on their position. Well, if you don't do it the way I want, look, I'm going to get in a relationship with this person. And then they're kind of using that person as a pawn. I'm just using this person to make that person mad and jealous, so they'll come back and do the relationship the way I want. And then if they come back and want to do the relationship I want, the way I want, well then they'll have to decide, well, am I really willing to get out of indulging in this to go back in a relationship with you? Or are you still hanging there? Okay, well then I think I'll keep doing this. Are you going to keep hanging there? Perfect. I'm going to keep doing this. You know, some people, if they don't think that you're moving on and standing up for yourself, well, I'll just keep, and you wouldn't be doing it for that reason. But every day that they choose not to work together with you to heal a relationship is another day you see the truth that you don't want to be in a relationship with them, because you see they're kind of immature and prideful and egotistical and self-indulgent. I don't want to be in a relationship with someone like that. Oh, the Ten of Swords in reverse and the Two of Wands in reverse. Why? Because of the Six of Cups. So, you are inspired to reconcile yourself with issues from your past, to come to a place of peace about your past, and get balance. The sixes also talk about balance. And the six of Cups is Scorpio energy about more deep, meaningful relationships. So you were inspired within yourself to heal, to reconcile yourself with some issues of your past that could make you keep repeating a certain pattern. And it's like, I don't want to repeat that pattern anymore. I've kind of seen why I do it, why I indulge people, and I'm done indulging people. And I've been illuminated to the truth that I'm going to quit trying to change people. If I meet people and they're shadowy in some regard, okay, you stay in the friend zone, you know? And though I could have had wanted a dream to come into reality and I wished things would get just and fair and have a new beginning with them, I've had enough life experience that if people aren't more authentic, more balanced, more loving, my dream can't come into reality with them anyway. I'm looking for the people that have already done this work within themselves. And if they were motivated and inspired to have done that work within themselves, they would be in that energy right now. I'm not going to try to change someone who every day doesn't want to be inspired to deal with whatever manipulates them. That could take years and decades, and they may never do it. So I wish you peace while you go on that journey to work through what manipulates you. I already went on my journey and I already saw things that manipulated me. I did see the truth. I got out of it and I've made peace with the past. So I can let the past go. It doesn't manipulate me and keep me in defensive energy. And because you're willing to do that, then we have the Ten of Swords and the Two of Wands in reverse. If at one point in time you felt backstabbed by people you thought a dream could come into reality with, you got over it and worked through it because you realize your dream can come into reality with them. Because that's not the type of person they are. They're not, just that you view life differently. Your truth is different. So that helps you reconcile yourself with it. My dream can only come into reality with people who are kind of motivated and inspired to be balanced within themselves and in their relationships, and are inspired within themselves to align with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And some of those people weren't. And I thought my dream could come into reality with them. But now I see the truth that it couldn't. Because a house divided can't stand. To have a solid foundation, you both have to be in the relationship, motivated and inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness and putting in work and effort. You know, shadowy Capricorn represented by the devil. It takes work and effort, and you have to be inspired to free yourself from things that manipulate you to be more balanced within yourself. And some people haven't done that, and some people don't want to do that. So you get over feeling backstabbed and letting it stop you from believing in yourself and your dreams. You didn't let go of your dreams, you just let go of the people who that wasn't their truth. And they show you if that's their truth by if they're willing to invest and work together with you cooperatively in a just and fair way. And they weren't. And so you're able to let go of that old dream and you're able to go have this new beginning. And really moving forward free of inner conflict and things that used to manipulate you and people. And you're moving forward victoriously and successfully at peace. And some other people could see you doing that and they don't understand how you're doing it, because shadowy people can be more like they're just creating an illusion. Look at me, look how wonderful my life is. Look, I know that didn't work out, but I got a new job, a new friend, a new relationship. See, I've healed, I've grown, I've matured, but they really haven't. But it's to try to create the illusion that they've changed. And so some of those people just think you're creating a really good illusion, maybe, in comparison to them. Or equally creating as good of an illusion. But what they don't get is you're not taking action out of ego, and they are. Out of ego, fear, pride, lust, greed, immaturity, trying to manipulate people still. And you've moved on, and they don't realize that you're no longer confused about the truth of who they are. You've healed. Your foundation is moving on. And for some of them, because they're kind of in their ego, they find that hard to believe. But I know you maybe love me. And I have these things and people that I love, and they keep manipulating me. It's like, yeah, I know. And I've moved on. And I kind of see the truth that I don't want to be in a relationship with you because you do have all these things that manipulate you, or people. And they still don't see the truth. And they are sure still going about things the way they go about things. They don't have to change. And of course, they don't want to see the truth about the things they make their life about, or the people. Oh no, those people have my best interest. Do they want you to be more authentically yourself and more independent? And see the truth about issues from the past and come to a place of peace about it? Probably not, because they don't either. But you don't want to see the truth about that. So enjoy both. Everybody trying to keep everyone from being illuminated to the truth, or choosing to be more independent or more inspired by love, and keep making your life more about the illusion of how wonderful your life is. And I think there's probably people from your life and people from your past that do stand up and defend you. Some of them aren't people that could be in your life, but they could be proud of you and happy that you freed yourself, but they haven't freed themselves. Just anybody who's in shadowy energy, their high vibe nature is happy that you didn't let. Because people that are in shadowy energy, their high vibe nature is defensive, just like high vibe people in their life are defensive to them. Their high vibe nature, is trying to communicate to their shadowy nature that we need to heal. We need to work together if we want to move forward victoriously and successfully. But the people that are in more shadowy energy are like, no, I don't want to align with being inspired by love. I get hurt. I'm going to keep operating from my ego. And you're going to have to toe the line with me. But eventually it's kind of like, just like high vibe people quit having anything to do with them. It's like they're more creative, inspired, hopeful, believing, loving nature is also tired of putting in work and effort to get their relationships off the ground or whatever, because they don't get anything out of it. Because they're kind of selfish, not willing to work together. Well, I don't get the things that I want. It's kind of wild, but if you were to think of every human being kind of like being a person with multiple personality disorder, it's just that we haven't had a trauma that makes it distinctly appear that way in the world, but it is kind of like we do. Because we have this dualistic nature, and eventually their own high vibe nature is going to be defensive to them. And it's like, well, if you're not willing to work together with us when we're working together with you in truth and love, then you can go do it yourself. And kind of the more creative, inspired, hopeful, those things that make them not an animal and not a computer, that's their high vibe nature. They want to manipulate it. And eventually their high vibe nature says, no, you're going to have to do it on your own. You're going to have to use your more egoic, your mind, and the resources you have as a base human being to accomplish it. But the bigger aspect of you that is more creative and inspired and hopeful and believing that we used to help contribute to helping those things work, because we thought we were going to get a victory and we were going to reap in the benefits too. And we keep seeing we don't. So you're going to have to do it on your own. And that's when people's health can fail, people's maybe their sexuality stuff isn't working out the way they want, because they're being too defensive to their own high vibe nature. And their high vibe nature is like, I'm not going to keep working with you anymore. We're going to chill until you see the truth that you need us. And then if they start to do that work within themselves, well, to get out of your ego, to, it's all this work they have to do within themselves before they can even do it with other people outside of themselves. Anyway, what's coming up for the people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy Capricorn energy that they don't see coming? The Seven of Swords in reverse and the Seven of Cups in reverse. And the reason is because of the Queen of Cups. There's always going to be more high vibrational people in their life. And I view the Queen of Cups and the Seven of Cups as Scorpio energy. Like the Six of Cups. The loving people in their life. Eventually the loving people in their life see the truth. My dream isn't going to come into reality here. And they see through the illusion. And they're not willing to keep investing in something where a dream isn't going to come into reality. And it's not a deep, meaningful relationship. And eventually the more high vibrational people in their life are going to move on. And some of them already have. And they could always be confused when people do that, because in a Capricorn Queen of Wands energy, male or female, some people could look very victorious and successful in the world. Like they are moving forward swiftly in the world. They are on a path of victory and success at least by worldly standards. And they could be attractive or charming, status, image, money. And so people get in relationships with them. But eventually they find out that they don't look at life from a higher perspective. They don't kind of have more hope and faith and belief and love. That it is really all more about, and when cards are in reverse, it can mean extremes, that some people are really caught up in being about themselves or these things of the world or these things that they indulge in. And again, it can get worse and worse. When any of us have kind of driven our life off into the ditch, looking to something to be the answer in our life, some of those people are going to really have to hit rock bottom. Whether that's, no, it has to be more about me, or I have to be able to control you more, or I need to drink more of this, or eat more of this, or I need more money, more status, or whatever. Our immature egoic nature, or a lust or a greed or whatever, or a lazy self-indulgent nature, if we don't start putting work and effort to work through seeing how that's driving our life off into the ditch, it clouds our judgment more and more and more. And we're so have lost perspective and just so lost touch with kind of looking at life from a higher perspective, that we either become so much more consumed with ourself or those things we make our life about. And as some people have been in their life, some of those people didn't want to see the truth. But eventually you just can't keep indulging someone in their delusions. And it's like, okay, you do you. I wish you peace and love, but we're going to go live our life. And if you want to do that, you do that, to each your own. Everybody's got to learn some lessons the hard way. And maybe you're going to have to go learn some of those lessons the hard way. But I don't want to be that involved in it. I don't want to be there when the tower falls, or call me when the tower falls and you have seen the truth. And then what they don't see coming is they are going to align themselves with people who, again, shadowy energy, can try to create the illusion that they're more high vibe, more motivated and inspired by love. Oh yes, you should date me, you should marry me, you should hire me for a job, you should go into business with me. But it's just an illusion. That is not their truth at all. How does it benefit me? What can I get out of it? Can I use you to manipulate someone else? And they'll probably end up in relationships with people, ultimately, who are that same kind of person. Who also doesn't look at life from a higher perspective. I don't think there is any higher truth or justice to aspire to in the world. The world tells us we should make our life about these things. That's what looks victorious and successful. That's why people will look up and admire us. It will be how we are remembered. And that's the most important thing. And they are not inspired at all by, even though they could try to present themselves as someone who is like, look at me and what I do and all these things. You should view me as this type of person. I do look at life from a higher perspective. I'm not selfish. I'm not greedy. I'm not more about myself. I'll try to do all these things to try to create an illusion about the type of person I am. But ultimately, they and the people they will ultimately align themselves with, I mean, they can have loving people come in and out of their life, but eventually the higher vibe people see the truth and move on. And eventually they end up in a relationship with someone else who's inspired to create an illusion, hiding that they're operating more from their ego, is willing to move forward with them. And they're both more inspired not by higher Aquarius, Libra, Aries, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio energy. It's more about being in a relationship, to be in a relationship for the status or the image, or to make other people mad. Or wanting other people to be jealous and envious of them. And while they're doing that, investing in things that are kind of immature, other people are going to heal relationships and have deep, meaningful relationships with people who aren't trying to backstab them or betray them or manipulate them. And we all have the free will to live whatever life we want. And sadly, that is, some people are like, if you're not willing to indulge me in my ego, I'll show you. How dare you expect me or think that I have anything to change? I'll show you. I'll move forward and get in a relationship with someone. And it could be people they don't even like, people they don't even want to be in a relationship with. But if they think in their ego nature, well, this looks good for me and it might make those other people mad, what a way to live and waste your life. When you could go live your more authentic life. But some people, they don't believe in themselves, don't believe they can manifest their dreams into reality anyway. So if this is what I have to settle for, that's what I have to settle for. And I'll be happy in my angry way that I did it that way. It's like, okay, well, I would rather live my life enjoying friends and family and being at peace within myself than having to create an illusion with someone that I like them or want to be in a relationship with them when I maybe don't. Or that I let ego or image or status or my ego manipulate me to that degree that I'm not even living the life of my dreams and I'm in more superficial, shallow relationships. But again, for some people, that is their comfort zone. They don't want to do deep, meaningful relationships. And if they find someone who is like that, they could feel like, ha, see, I finally found someone just like me. It's like, yeah, you guys go enjoy your life. That wasn't my truth, but teach their own. We all know all sorts of people and how they live their life and what they do. And hey, isn't that great? You found someone just like you. Enjoy. And other people too could be like, oh wow, this person isn't anything like I thought they were. They are more superficial, other people in their life. Wow, I didn't think they were that kind of person, but the way things have played out, I think they're much more superficial, shallow, immature. When they had the opportunity to work with people where they really could have been in more just, fair, balanced, loving, deep, meaningful relationships, they were defensive to those people. And that's when it's like, people like to live more from their mind than their heart. Or just find someone who might not love and believe in themselves that will indulge them in their shadowy ways of being. It's like, oh yeah, congratulations, you found someone to indulge you in your shadowy ways of being. Like that's nothing to be proud of, but you are. Look, I'm bossy and controlling this person. Look, I can go do this and I can do that, or I can act this way or act that way, and they still indulge me or still want to be in a relationship with me or so enamored with me. Is like, and I don't know. I'm sure you get the point. So there you go, Capricorn. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.